Like all other cultures, that of the Anglo Saxons changed over time. The early invaders were seafaring wanderers whose lives were bleak, violent, and short. Their pagan religion was marked by a strong belief in word or fate, and they saved their admiration for heroic warriors whose fate it was to prevail in battle. As the Anglo-Saxons settled in their new land, however, they became agricultural, less violent, more secure, and more civilized. The bleak fatalism of the Anglo-Saxons' early beliefs may have reflected the reality of their lives, but it offered little hope. Life was very harsh, and it taught the Anglo-Saxons that the only certainty was that it would end in death. Christianity then opened up a bright new possibility. That possibility was that the suffering of this world was merely a prelude to the eternal happiness of heaven. Christianity then began to take hold, yet no one really knows exactly when the first Christian missionaries arrived in Britain. But by about 300 AD, the number of Christians on the island was very, very significant. Over the next 2 centuries, Christianity spread to Ireland and Scotland, and then from Scotland to the Picts and Angles in the north. In 597, a Roman missionary named Augustine arrived in the Kingdom of Kent, where he then established a monastery at Canterbury. From there on out, Christianity spread so rapidly that by the date 690, all of Britain was at least nominally Christian, though many held on to some of their old pagan traditions and beliefs. Monasteries became centers of intellectual, literary, artistic, and social activity. At a time back when schools and libraries were completely unknown and monasteries offered the people the only opportunity for education, monastic scholars imported books from the continent which were then copied and ridiculously plagiarized. In addition, the original works were written mostly in scholarly Latin, but then they were later written in Old English. The earliest recorded history of the English people came from the clergymen at the monasteries, and the greatest, most well-known of all these monks was the Venerable Bede. He was the author of A History of the English Church and People. When the Vikings invaded in the late 8th and 9th centuries, they searched out and destroyed most of the monasteries and then threatened to completely destroy without a trace of all the cultural refinement. Through all this, Christianity continued as a dominant cultural force for more than 1,000 years to come.